The Cursed Keeper. Chapter 1. The Castle on the Hill. Oliver's heart raced as the old bus climbed the winding road. Through the foggy window he glimpsed an enormous castle looming against the darkening sky. Spires and turrets pierced the clouds, leaving him breathless. "That's it, lads and lasses," the driver called out. "Welcome to Highcastle Soccer Academy." Oliver clutched his worn duffel bag tighter. This was his chance to become a world-class goalkeeper. As the bus screeched to a halt, he joined the excited kids spilling onto the cobblestone courtyard. "Whoa," he whispered, taking in the massive stone walls. Gargoyles peered down, their faces frozen in eternal grimaces. But next to the ancient architecture stood something that made his heart leap. A state-of-the-art soccer field, its perfect grass a stark contrast to the gloomy surroundings. "First years this way." A tall woman with a clipboard waved them towards a heavy wooden door. Oliver followed, trying not to trip as he gaped at his new home. Inside, the castle was a maze of corridors and staircases. Suits of armour stood guard, their helmets seeming to watch the new arrivals. Oliver could have sworn one moved as he passed. "And this," the guide announced, "is the East Wing dormitory. Boys to the left, girls to the right. Find your name on the door and get settled. Dinner's at 7 in the Great Hall." Oliver found his room and met his roommate Marco, a lanky boy with curly hair. "Top or bottom bunk?" Marco grinned. "Bottom, I guess," Oliver replied, still overwhelmed. After unpacking, they joined a tour. Oliver marvelled at the blend of old and new. Medieval tapestries hung next to high-tech training equipment, and armour shared space with gleaming trophies. On another staircase, Oliver's shoelace came undone. He stopped to tie it, and when he looked up, the group had vanished. Heart-pounding, he hurried after them but took a wrong turn. "Hello?" he called, his voice echoing. No answer. He was lost. Panicking, Oliver tried a random door. It creaked open to a dusty room filled with old trophies and faded photos. Moonlight cast eerie shadows through a narrow window. Something glinted in the corner. Oliver moved closer, squinting. Behind a tarnished cup, he saw a pair of goalkeeper gloves. But these weren't ordinary. They were ornate, covered in intricate, shimmering patterns. Without thinking, Oliver touched them. A jolt of energy shot up his arm, making him gasp. He knew he should leave them, but something compelled him to slip them on. The moment he did, power surged through his body. The gloves fit perfectly, as if made for him. Oliver flexed his fingers, marvelling at how light and strong they felt. Suddenly, voices echoed in the hallway. Guiltily, he tried to remove the gloves, but they wouldn't budge. Panicking, he shoved his hands in his pockets just as the door opened. "There you are." Marco appeared. "We've been looking everywhere. Come on, it's almost dinner time." Oliver nodded, following his roommate out. As they walked to the great hall, he felt the gloves tingling against his skin. What had he gotten himself into? Little did Oliver know, his adventure at Highcastle was just beginning, and those mysterious gloves would change everything. Chapter 2. Impossible Saves. Oliver's heart raced as he stepped onto the misty practice field. The fog clung to the ancient castle walls, creating an eerie atmosphere. He tugged at his new academy jersey, still stiff and unfamiliar. "All right, gather round." Coach Hernandez's voice cut through the mist. The team huddled around him. "We've got a new keeper today. Oliver, front and centre." Oliver gulped and stepped forward, feeling all eyes on him. He flexed his fingers inside the mysterious gloves, their ornate patterns hidden beneath his regular goalkeeper gloves. "Let's see what you've got," Coach Hernandez said, tossing a ball to Oliver. "In the net. The rest of you line up for shots." As Oliver took his position, a strange calm washed over him. The first striker approached, a tall boy with a powerful kick. He launched the ball towards the top corner. Without thinking, Oliver leaped. Time seemed to slow as he soared through the air, his hand stretching out impossibly far. His fingertips brushed the ball, sending it careening away from the goal. A collective gasp rose from the team. Even Coach Hernandez's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "Lucky save," someone muttered. But it wasn't luck. As striker after striker took their shots, Oliver blocked every single one. Diving saves, punch-outs, even a scorpion kick that had him flipping through the air. He did it all with ease that left everyone stunned. "Blimey, Oliver!" A girl with bright green eyes and a ponytail jogged up to him as Coach called for a water break. "That was incredible. I'm Emma, by the way." Oliver grinned, slightly out of breath. "Thanks. I don't know what came over me." "Whatever it was, keep it up," Emma said, punching him lightly on the shoulder. As the practice continued, Oliver's performance only got more spectacular. But strange things began to happen. Balls would suddenly change direction mid-air, curving away from the goal as if pulled by invisible strings. More than once, Oliver heard whispers on the wind, words he couldn't quite make out. During a short scrimmage, Emma lined up for a penalty kick. As she approached the ball, a gust of wind whipped across the field, carrying with it a mournful wail. Emma stumbled, her shot going wide. "Did you hear that?" she asked, looking around wildly. Oliver nodded, a chill running down his spine. As he looked down at his gloved hands, a horrible realization began to dawn on him. These gloves were responsible for his incredible performance, but also for the odd events plaguing the practice. As Coach Hernandez blew the whistle to end the session, Oliver's mind raced. What had he gotten himself into? "Oliver!" Coach's voice snapped him out of his thoughts. "Whatever you're doing, keep it up. I've never seen goalkeeping like that from someone your age." Oliver forced a smile, but inside he felt a knot of worry growing. As amazing as it felt to make those saves, he knew deep down that this power came with a price, and sooner or later he'd have to pay it. Chapter 3. The Groundskeeper's Tale. Oliver couldn't shake the eerie feeling that had settled over him since he'd first put on those mysterious gloves. The whispers in the wind, the balls that seemed to move on their own. It was all too strange. He needed answers. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the castle grounds, Oliver wandered into the gardens. The scent of roses mixed with freshly cut grass, reminding him that soccer still ruled here. "Quite a performance today, young man," a gravelly voice called out, making Oliver jump. He turned to see the old groundskeeper, his weathered hands gripping a rusty spade. The man's eyes twinkled knowingly, making Oliver's stomach flip. "Thanks," Oliver mumbled, scuffing his shoe. "But I think something weird is going on." The groundskeeper nodded. "Aye, that it is. Those gloves you found. They're not just any old keeper's mitts." Oliver's eyes widened. "You know about the gloves?" "Oh, I know all about 'em," the old man said, gesturing to a nearby bench. As they sat, he began to speak, his voice low and warning. "Years ago there was a keeper here. Talented lad, but always wanted more. He made a deal he shouldn't have. Got himself a pair of gloves that would never let a ball past." Oliver shivered. "But that's good, isn't it? To never concede a goal?" The groundskeeper shook his head. "Nothing comes without a price, lad. The keeper became unbeatable, true enough. But the curse turned the game dark. It wasn't about skill or teamwork anymore, just winning, no matter the cost." "What happened to him?" Oliver asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Some say his spirit still haunts the castle, bound to the gloves forever," the groundskeeper replied. "And now, it seems, he's found a new keeper to tempt." Oliver swallowed hard. "How do I stop it? How do I break the curse?" The old man's eyes softened. "It won't be easy, lad. You'll have to face 3 challenges, tests of skill, mind, and heart. Only by completing them can you break the curse and free yourself, and the academy, from the glove's power." As the groundskeeper explained, Oliver felt fear and determination rising inside him. He thought about how amazing it had felt to make those saves, how everyone had cheered. But he also remembered the whispers, the strange events, the feeling that something wasn't right. "I'll do it," Oliver said finally, his voice stronger than he felt. "I'll face the challenges." The groundskeeper nodded. "Good lad. But remember, the gloves will try to tempt you. They'll make you feel invincible, make you think you need them to be great. You'll have to be strong, Oliver. Remember why you love the game." As Oliver walked back to the castle, his mind raced. The weight of the curse felt heavy, but he knew what he had to do. He thought of his teammates, of the joy of making a great save with his own skills. No magical gloves were worth losing that. Oliver took a deep breath, ready to face what was coming, not as a cursed keeper, but as Oliver, the boy who loved soccer more than anything. Chapter 4. The Tunnels Below. Oliver's heart raced as he faced the ancient stone archway leading to the underground tunnels. The groundskeeper's warnings echoed in his mind, but nothing prepared him for the damp, musty air that hit his face as he peered into the darkness. "You've got this, Oliver," Emma said, squeezing his shoulder. "Remember, you're more than those gloves." Oliver nodded, took a deep breath, and stepped into the gloom. The walls seemed to close in as he descended deeper into the castle's foundations. His echoing footsteps made him jump. Suddenly the ground shifted. Oliver's goalkeeper instincts kicked in as he dove sideways, narrowly avoiding a trap door. He rolled to his feet, heart pounding. "Quick reflexes, lad!" the groundskeeper's voice echoed from above. "But you'll need more than that to survive down here." Oliver pressed on, his eyes adjusting to the dim light. At a fork in the tunnel, he noticed faint chalk markings on the walls, old soccer formations. 4-3-3, Oliver muttered, recognizing the aggressive formation. He chose the left path, hoping his soccer knowledge would guide him. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber with rusted goalposts at each end. The floor was littered with old, deflated balls. As Oliver stepped forward, the balls sprang to life, rolling and bouncing towards him like angry bees. Instinctively, Oliver dropped into a goalkeeper's stance. He batted away ball after ball, using every part of his body to deflect the onslaught. It felt like the most intense training session of his life, but instead of teammates, he faced the castle's ancient magic. Sweating, Oliver cleared the last ball. He'd made it halfway across the chamber, but his relief was short-lived as a rumbling sound filled the air. Cracks spread across the ceiling, and chunks of stone began to fall. Oliver sprinted towards the exit, ducking and weaving through the debris. He dove through the archway just as the chamber collapsed behind him. Oliver lay on the ground, catching his breath. He'd survived the first challenge. His gloves glowed faintly, but he felt proud knowing he'd relied on his own skills to overcome the obstacles. Slowly, Oliver made his way back to the surface. Emma and the groundskeeper waited for him, their faces a mix of concern and relief. "You did it!" Emma exclaimed, hugging him. The groundskeeper nodded approvingly. "Well done, lad, but remember this is just the beginning. The challenges will only get harder." Oliver looked at his gloves, then at his friends. For the first time since putting them on, he felt truly confident in his own abilities. Whatever came next, he knew he was ready, with or without magical help. Chapter 5. Riddles of the Beautiful Game. Oliver's heart raced as he entered the castle's grand library. The musty scent of old books filled the air. Rows of ancient tomes stretched before him, their faded titles in unfamiliar languages. "Ready?" Emma's voice crackled through the walkie-talkie. "As I'll ever be," Oliver replied, feigning confidence. A ghostly whisper echoed. "Keeper of the cursed gloves, prove your worth. Answer 5 riddles of the beautiful game to continue breaking the curse." Oliver gulped. His soccer history knowledge was shaky at best. The first riddle appeared in shimmering golden letters. "I have no legs, but I run across the field. I have no voice, but I speak to the crowd. What am I?" Emma? Ideas?" Oliver asked. "Think, Ollie, what moves without legs?" It clicked. "The ball. It's the soccer ball." A golden check mark appeared. 1 down, 4 to go. The second riddle. "I am shaped like a diamond, but I'm not a gem. I have lines, but I'm not a notebook. Players stand on me, but I'm not a platform. What am I?" Oliver closed his eyes, visualizing. "Remember Coach Hernandez's lessons on field positions?" Emma prompted. "The pitch. It's the soccer field." Another check mark. Oliver's confidence grew. Third riddle. "I am a number, but not a digit. I am worn, but not clothing. I am a position, but not a job. What am I?" Oliver grinned. "The number 10 jersey, the playmaker's position." Fourth riddle. "Born in England, perfected in Brazil, I am a style of play that dances with the ball. What am I?" "Oh no," Oliver muttered. "Emma, I'm lost." "Think about our history class, the film on Brazilian soccer." An image of graceful players flashed in Oliver's mind. "Samba soccer, the beautiful game." Final riddle. "I am a formation that shares its name with a Christmas tree. My base is strong, my top is pointed. What am I?" Oliver's excitement faded. "Emma, I'm stuck. Let's think. What formations do we know?" Oliver listed them. 4-4-2, 3-5-2, 4-3-3. "Wait," Emma interrupted. "Remember that one Coach Hernandez mentioned? Looks like a triangle?" Oliver's eyes lit up. The 4-3-2-1. It looks like a Christmas tree. The final checkmark appeared. The room glowed warmly, and Oliver felt accomplished. You did it, Ollie, Emma cheered. Oliver realized he knew more about soccer than he thought. More importantly, he understood he wasn't alone in these challenges. Leaving the library, Oliver appreciated the intellectual side of soccer. The game wasn't just physical. It involved strategy, history, and teamwork. He had grown as a player and a person. His gloves tingled, reminding him of the final challenge ahead. But now, with his expanded knowledge and friends' support, Oliver felt ready for whatever came next. Chapter 6. The Ghostly Goalkeeper. Oliver's heart raced as he stepped onto the misty field for his final challenge. Floodlights cast an eerie glow through the thick fog. He flexed his fingers inside the cursed gloves, feeling their pulsing energy. Are you ready, young keeper? A hollow voice echoed. Oliver squinted. Suddenly, a translucent figure materialized, a tall, imposing man in outdated goalkeeper attire, eyes glowing otherworldly. I am the Ghostkeeper, the spectre announced, pride and sorrow mixing in his voice. Once I was the greatest goalkeeper who ever lived. Now I'm bound to these gloves, cursed by my own ambition. Oliver swallowed hard. What do I have to do? The Ghostkeeper gestured, and 5 spectral figures appeared, each holding a ball. Face my team in a penalty shootout, he explained. But be warned, saving every shot isn't the path to victory here. Oliver frowned. But isn't that the point of being a goalkeeper? The Ghostkeeper's laughter echoed eerily. Sometimes, young one, the bravest thing a keeper can do is let the ball go past. As the first ghostly player stepped up, Oliver's mind raced. When should he save, and when should he concede? The whistle blew. The first shot came hurtling towards him. Oliver's instincts screamed to dive, but at the last second he held back. The ball sailed past him into the net. To his surprise, a warm glow emanated from the goal. The Ghostkeeper nodded approvingly. With each shot, Oliver made split-second decisions. It wasn't just about reflexes anymore. He had to read the energy of each kick, the intention behind it. Sometimes the right choice was to let the goal in. As the challenge progressed, Oliver understood. It wasn't about being unbeatable. It was about knowing when to act and when to step aside. About balance and the greater good of the game. The final shot came from the Ghostkeeper himself. Time seemed to slow. Oliver saw the anguish in the spectre's eyes, the weight of his cursed existence. In that moment he knew what to do. Oliver dove, his fingertips brushing the ball just enough to change its trajectory, but not stop it. The ball hit the net, and a blinding light filled the stadium. When it faded, the Ghostkeeper stood before him, smiling. Well done, young Oliver. You've passed the final test. But I let in goals, Oliver said, catching his breath. Exactly. The Ghostkeeper nodded. You learned that true victory isn't about personal glory or perfect records. It's about playing with heart, making tough decisions, and sometimes letting others shine. Oliver looked at the gloves, understanding dawning. Being a great goalkeeper isn't just about making saves, is it? No, the Ghostkeeper agreed. It's about leadership, judgment, and knowing you're part of something bigger than yourself. As the ghostly figures faded, Oliver felt accomplished. He had faced his final challenge with skill, wisdom, and humility. The fog lifted, revealing Emma, Coach Hernandez, and the groundskeeper watching proudly from the sidelines. You did it, Oliver, Emma cheered, hugging him. Coach Hernandez nodded. I've never seen goalkeeping like that, mijo. You've learned something special today. The groundskeeper approached, eyes twinkling. The final choice lies ahead, young keeper. But for now, rest. You've earned it. As Oliver walked off with his friends, he felt different. The gloves still hummed with power, but now he understood the weight of that power and the responsibility. Whatever choice he made next, he knew it would be with a deeper understanding of what it truly meant to be a goalkeeper, both on and off the field. Chapter 7. The Ultimate Save. Oliver stood at the edge of the misty soccer field, cursed gloves heavy in his hands. Moonlight peeked through castle spires, casting long shadows across the grass. Power thrummed through the gloves, tempting him with promises of unbeatable skill. "What are you going to do, Oliver?" Emma asked softly beside him. Oliver glanced at his friend, then at Coach Hernandez and the groundskeeper watching with concern. He took a deep breath. I don't know," he admitted shakily. "With these, I could be the best goalkeeper ever. I'd never let in a goal." Coach Hernandez stepped forward, face serious. "But at what cost, mijo? Is victory worth losing your integrity?" Oliver's mind raced with memories. Impossible saves, fear in his teammates' eyes, challenges in tunnels and against ghostly opponents. The groundskeeper's gravelly voice cut in. "Remember, lad, true greatness comes from within, not magical trinkets." Oliver nodded, turning the gloves over. He thought about the Ghostkeeper, trapped by his selfish choice. Was that his future? "What if I'm not good enough without them?" Oliver whispered, voicing his deepest fear. Emma squeezed his shoulder. "You are, Oliver. You've always been. These gloves just made you forget." Warmth spread through Oliver's chest. He looked at the gloves one last time, then at those who believed in him. Decision made, Oliver walked to the center of the field where a small fire pit waited. Without hesitation, he tossed the gloves into the flames. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the fire flared bright green. The gloves twisted, letting out an unearthly shriek that echoed across the castle grounds. Oliver stumbled back, shielding his eyes. When he looked again, the fire was normal, and the gloves were gone. Peace settled over the field. "You did it, Oliver!" Emma grinned. "You broke the curse!" Coach Hernandez clapped his back. "That was your best save ever, mijo." The groundskeeper nodded. "You freed us all. The academy can return to normal." Walking back to the castle, Oliver felt lighter than he had in days. He knew the path ahead wouldn't be easy. He'd have to work hard without magical help. But he was excited about the challenge. "You know," Oliver said, "I think I'll enjoy being a normal goalkeeper again." Emma laughed. "Normal, Oliver? After everything, I don't think you'll ever be just normal again." Oliver grinned, realizing she was right. He might not have magical gloves, but he had something far more valuable. The knowledge that he could face any challenge with courage, integrity, and friends' support. And that, he decided, was the greatest victory of all. Chapter 8. Victory Without Magic. The morning sun peeked through the castle's Gothic windows, casting long shadows across the soccer field. Oliver stood in goal, his hands free of the cursed gloves for the first time in weeks. He flexed his fingers, feeling both lighter and heavier at the same time. "All right, team," Coach Hernandez called out. "The tournament starts tomorrow. Show me what you've got." Oliver took a deep breath as Emma lined up for a shot. She winked before unleashing a powerful strike. Oliver dove, but the ball slipped past his fingertips into the net. "Don't worry, Oliver," Emma shouted. "You'll get the next one." Oliver nodded, fighting off doubt. Without the gloves, every save was a challenge. But as practice continued, he found himself relying on years of hard-earned skills. Later, as the team huddled around Coach Hernandez, the groundskeeper appeared at Oliver's shoulder. "Remember, lad," he whispered, "true magic comes from within." The next day, the tournament began. Teams from other academies filled the castle grounds. Oliver's stomach churned as he took his place in goal for the first match. At the whistle, Oliver faced a barrage of shots. He dove, leapt and stretched, making save after save. Each stop boosted his confidence, reminding him of his innate abilities. Oliver's team advanced through the rounds. Emma's lightning strikes and Marco's solid defence complemented Oliver's growing assurance in goal. They worked together seamlessly, supporting each other through every challenge. In the championship match, they faced a tough team with a powerful striker. As the game neared its end, the score was tied. With minutes left, the striker broke free, charging towards Oliver's goal. Time slowed as Oliver watched the ball leave the striker's foot, curling towards the top corner. In that moment, Oliver saw everything clearly. He remembered the tunnel lessons about agility, the riddles about reading trajectories, and the Ghostkeeper's wisdom about trusting yourself and your team. Oliver leaped, stretching every muscle. His fingers brushed the ball, tipping it over the crossbar. The crowd erupted as Oliver landed, grinning. Seconds later, the final whistle blew. Oliver's team had won the tournament. As his teammates rushed to embrace him, Oliver saw Coach Hernandez nodding approvingly. Emma hugged him, laughing with joy. "You did it, Oliver," she exclaimed, "without any magic gloves." Oliver smiled, realizing the real magic had been inside him all along, in his practice, his friends' support, and the lessons about perseverance and teamwork. As they celebrated, Oliver glanced at the castle. For a moment, he thought he saw the groundskeeper in a window, smiling knowingly. But when he looked again, the window was empty. With the trophy in hand and his teammates beside him, Oliver knew this victory was sweeter than any magical triumph. He had grown as a goalkeeper and as a person, the greatest win of all.
Close your eyes, let your mind ignite. The universe of stories shining bright. Imagination stage a canvas to create. Dream bites with